Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
As a Philadelphia fan, great.
Are you very proud?
I am. It was a winning weekend, and so very happy about that. Not all of it was easy. As we're recording this on Sunday, maybe my blood pressure has since come down from that Eagles game, but yeah, lots of action this weekend.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah. I've been having, a lot of thoughts about last night's performance and on Friday night's performance with Union 2, which we will share. And again, as always, we thank everybody for tuning in. We're recording here early Sunday. I just got back from seeing a couple friends of mine. One I haven't seen in over a year and a half. Came in from New Mexico for a wedding. And yeah, had a good time at a restaurant downtown Lancaster. That was a lot of fun. But again, good to see you tuning in. So thanks so much for listening. And on today's show, we are going to recap Union 2 grinding it out on the road against Chicago. Getting- I've been thinking of I was looking at a video here earlier, Chicago Fire, last night. But anyway, against Toronto FC too. And also Union 6-0 rout of DC United, which brings back the old memories of 2022.
We love a good throttling.
We do.
Our house in the middle of DC.
But before we get started, what are we wearing today?
Well, in the spirit of the fact that the Union scored a touchdown last night and the Eagles won as well, I'm wearing my Kelly Green Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey because why not?
Yeah, and I am wearing my Las Vegas Lights Golden Nugget.
Hey.
Hey, they play Pittsburgh today.
Ah,
Which Pittsburgh's had a little bit of
oh yeah, a little drama.
little drama in USL as of late, but anyway, where can people find us at?
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Also, we have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. And thanks to people who have subscribed to it. We've
Yeah,
gotten a few more subscribers. So
getting close to 100.
if you haven't um, gone to it yet and subscribed, there's a place to subscribe when you go to the main page there. So you can get our articles right to your inbox. Um, Also, you can find us on social media at TOTWAG at Twitter and on Blue Sky. Also, we are at the One Team We Agree on Facebook and Instagram.
Mhm.
And you can find our YouTube channel as well. And individually, I'm at silly double underscore Jilly on Twitter and Instagram, and at Jillian Almany on Blue Sky. And Kyle, you can find him at Coach Almany on all of those platforms.
Yes. So let's get into it. Union 2 grab a 2-0 win against Toronto FC 2.
It was a 2-1.
2-1, sorry. Win.
But if the malfunction with the score bug, you know, that did make it seem like the first one didn't count for a while there. Just shout out Bridge Brigade because they like to chant, first one doesn't count.
Yep, that is true. But yes, Stas Korzynski had a goal.
Yeah, and
Now,
stoppage time. First half stoppage time.
yes, and now has 4 goals in 3 matches. So he's heating up heading into playoffs, which is huge for Ryan.
Yeah, 4 goals in the last 3 games for Stas, and that just gave them so much momentum going into the half. So that was crucial.
Yeah, and Oscar Benitez with his first goal of the season.
Yes, and one of the only players in that lineup who didn't have a goal yet. So it was great to see that. Been wanting to see an Oscar goal, and he was the 18th different goal scorer for Union 2, which is incredible. And I know Ryan would say he'd like the goals coming from the strikers, them scoring more, but actually they have been scoring more.
They have.
But yeah, just really impressive though, all the contributions that have been coming from the different players on the squad.
Yeah, very similar to the first team. You're seeing a lot of traits mimicking the first, mimicking the second, which again, you know, 18 now goal scorers for them, excellent. But more importantly, just builds confidence now with 4 wins in a row. for them heading into this last match on this coming Sunday. And then also just heading into the MLS Next Pro Cup playoffs. Jillian, I did not get the chance to watch the match. I was coaching during that time. I did listen a little bit. Kind of talk to everybody listening, what your thoughts were from that match.
So, first of all, when you see the lineup, you see, okay, there's no Cabin, there's no Neil, and presumably with the first team. Of course, we find out last night Cabin wasn't with the first team either, but Neil was, so that explained that. But you have pretty similar lineup to the previous match where they had a really strong game against Chicago Fire too.
Mhm.
So on the road against Toronto, who gave him some fits in the last game,
Yeah.
because that ended in a draw and a loss in PKs. And of course, the first matchup they had a big win, 5-0, and that was where Malik had a brace, and it was really impressive. But um, this time around, okay, they're on the road against Toronto. Toronto's fighting for a playoff spot and like for the positioning, they're above the playoff line, but fighting for that positioning because it's all kind of congested right around that playoff line. So,
Correct.
so there's a lot on at stake for both teams. Union 2, of course, was sitting in second and trying to maintain where they were and maybe get up there and tie Red Bulls too in points. So they, the first half, they just weren't getting it done. Toronto was looking much stronger, and they're rewarded eventually with a PK because Gio fouls one of the players in the box. So Toronto gets the PK, and so they're up 1-0, and it's like, okay, get it going, guys, get it going here. And to their credit, first half stoppage time, uh, CJ only passes the ball beautifully to a wide open Stas, and Stotts sends it home. And so they go into the half tied. So that was really
Mhm.
clutch from him. Stas has really been heating up. I know we talked at length with Ryan earlier in the week about this. You can see it in my preview article that I had out. So Stas is getting hot for striker. And that's what you need. You need
Right.
the strikers, getting goals right now, as getting that momentum going into the postseason. So second half, I think they came out very rejuvenated, and second half they must have had they must have felt some good momentum from that goal, and also I'm sure there was a good halftime speech there too because they were pumped. They brought it. It was completely different look the second half, just great energy, and they didn't allow a single shot on target from Toronto in that second half. And George Marks did a good job in goal. Defense was getting in there and stopping a lot. So in the end, they get a corner, and it's late in the first half, and or second half rather. And yeah, they get a corner. CJ only gets a second assist as Oscar heads it into the goal. And so that was pretty awesome. And I know Ryan said some really good things about him. Likes what he's bringing to the team, and he's been really developing this season. So yeah, so his first goal for Union too. I know he had at least one goal when he was with St. Louis City too. That is, but yeah, it was great. Really happy for the squad. And with that, they tied uh, New York Red Bulls 2 for points. Now Red Bulls they have 2 games left. Union 2 only have one, but still, this is putting Union 2 in great position for the playoffs, and they are assured at least one home match in playoffs.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but um, yeah, you talk about CJ, 2 assists on the evening. I mean, the spark, Ryan talked about it. Um, we talked about it with a couple guys at the match yesterday too, just about how he's kind of come back after his stint with Lexington didn't work out, and how he's just really come in with that focus now and kind of a chip to prove. And you're seeing him play with a little bit of fire. And whether it's the goals, whether it's an assist, he's contributing. They have him now playing in the back on more of a defensive role with Nick Pariano, and he's excelled there. So, again, this is what you need with David Vasquez being loaned out, Cavan. kind of making some sprints, starts, and then Sal, Eddie, Marcus, all those guys kind of paying what Carnell wants to do.
Hmm.
There's options there, and
Yeah.
I think that's excellent.
Hmm. Absolutely. I think CJ has been a very good spark since coming back. I think he definitely learned a lot while he was at Lexington, and so I think he's going to be better off for getting that experience. Maybe it was a bit of a wake-up call, not that he was playing poorly before, but it's like, okay, you know, back here, help this team, you know, you know, continue to do well and get into the playoffs with good momentum. So really glad CJ is back, to be honest. So
No,
yeah.
and like I said, he's looked good. I think him
Mhm.
and Nick have been very good
Yeah.
duo.
Yeah. I think it's worth saying Nick Pariano has done a really great job in there. He is just busting his butt the entire game, and when he's able to play in that defensive mid role, I think that makes a big difference. It's been just so many different moving parts. Giovanni Sequeira doing great back in that right back role, and Oscar had a fantastic game at center back there in place of Neil.
Five different goalkeepers this year, rotating the forwards.
Hmm.
Isaiah LaFleur leaves. Jordan Griffin steps up, which Ryan talked about. We
Hmm.
posted on our socials earlier in the week. I mean, with that victory, the Union now have the most points. Union 2 have the most points in club history at 55.
Yeah, they surpassed last year, which was an insane year as well. So,
Yeah, and they have the most shots on target with 189 in MLS Next
and
Pro.
best goal differential in MLS Next Pro.
So I say that all to say, we were big fans. We still are big fans of the job Marlon LeBlanc's done.
Oh yeah, Marlon's
He
fantastic.
had a great team. We have Andrew Rick come from there. We have
Frankie,
Frankie. A
yeah,
lot of the guys that have been
yeah.
going in and out, getting their chances this year.
Magana
David.
did a great job down there,
Yeah,
worked his
we
way up.
talked about Gavin Wetzel.
Yep.
Gavin Wetzel's doing great at Pitt right now.
Oh yeah,
Um, there's just so many pieces there from that team that are excellent. And this year it's felt like not all the pieces are there that were there from last year's team. You see that a lot in MLS Next Pro.
there were some bumps in the road.
Yeah, and there's these guys that last year maybe didn't get a lot of playing time or were still in the academy now starting to get those first sniffs of
Mhm.
professional next level soccer. You have to credit the job Ryan's done as well.
100%. I think that Ryan, especially with his background. I mean, he's coached all these different
Right.
levels. I mean, he's coached with the first team. You see why Jim Curtin wanted him up there with
Mm-hmm.
him and the trust that he had. But also, Ryan has that background with working with the academy. He's worked with some of these players for a really long time. He told us that he's known Jordan Griffin since he was 8.
Right.
He goes way back with a lot of these players. So he has that developmental side of coaching too, and I think he's been doing fantastic job getting the most out of these players and what getting balancing the we want to win. That's a huge huge goal. You want to win, and also developing these players and them learning.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. That Ryan's built those relationships, and that's not to say Marlon has hadn't
No,
haven't had those
he absolutely
relationships.
had great
Oh
relationships with them
yeah,
too.
and but I think having gone through and worked with some of these kids previously, he understands maybe a little bit more.
It wasn't like you had a brand new coach coming in that didn't know the team and the system. I think he
He
was able,
understood.
yeah,
He's been around, and
like it was kind of a seamless transition.
and just having seen him coach, he understands the development model, what's expected from that level,
Mhm.
getting them prepared. And again, I think both are very, very good coaches. And fit the team perfectly. But I mean, credit to Richter with this team. He maybe thought this year would maybe take a step back, especially in the middle of summer. Kind of looked like when
Yeah.
they had those couple stretch there right at the end of summer. It's like, maybe this.
Yeah. There's that stretch in the very beginning of the season where they're like
Yeah,
getting draw after draw, and then
yeah.
that stretch in like kind of July into August. But
But credit to him
hmm
and his staff for navigating that, keeping the players focused, working through those difficulties to get to where they are now, and now having momentum. So, with the playoffs around the corner and them having that first round home match, you're feeling confident. And again, I'm not saying that this is a team this year that can go out and win the MLS Cup. Obviously, the East is very loaded.
It is, and then the West, you have the juggernaut that's St. Louis City too. If they do make it to the next Pro
Coached
Cup,
by former Union coach.
uh, John Hackworth, yeah.
Yep.
The storylines, though,
The storylines
the
for that match
storylines
would be
if the
amazing.
next Pro Cup comes down to, let's
But
pump
yeah,
the brakes
we
a little bit.
are. We'll talk about that should they make it and should that matchup even happen because last year's outside North Texas, everybody was talking about FC Cincinnati and they got knocked out in the first round.
Yep.
So anything can happen in these
Hmm.
playoffs. So and that's the fun part. But yeah, I mean, Union closed out the season now against NYCFC 2.
Hmm.
And again, this is a team, a quality team that's fighting for a playoff spot. Um,
They're in there too. And hey, it's a double NYCFC weekend because first team's playing NYCFC and
I
on
wonder if
Saturday.
their second team's gonna wear those kits. The ones with the pigeon on it.
Oh,
Those are really nice kits. I do digress. But
yeah.
I mean, they got some talent. Again, they're fighting for playoff position.
It's a big weekend at Subaru Park. Let's put it that
There
way. It's
is.
going to be a big weekend. And if you're listening to this and you're not doing anything on Sunday, I know the Eagles are playing at 1 o'clock also. I get it. But get down to Subaru Park and cheer them on. I mean, obviously, everyone needs to get to the first team game. That's going to be big, especially whatever happens prior to that with the other teams in the mix. But
Whatever happens here in
include
20 minutes.
yeah, as we're recording this we're gonna be big Orlando fans tonight, as are a lot of Union fans, I think. But anyway, big implications both Saturday and Sunday next week, so get on down to Subaru Park.
I I think for me, I just want to see them end that season with a win, carry 5 wins
Hmm.
into the playoffs, and then let the chips fall where they may, so to speak. It's going to be tough to catch Red Bull 2. They have the game midweek, and then they have a game that Sunday as well
Hmm.
against a team in Toronto that's fighting. And
Hmm.
even I checked the standings this morning. FC Cincinnati has like a long shot, but if things fall their way, FC Cincinnati could sneak into that playoff. It's like a long shot.
Hmm.
Like multiple things would have to happen, but they're
Yeah.
still not eliminated.
Yeah.
So, and they're playing them when? On Wednesday?
I,
Yeah.
I think maybe Tuesday or Wednesday or
Yeah,
something like
but
that.
they're playing them the very next game, so they knocked them.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, we'll see what happens. But again, credit to the staff, big win,
Yeah. Just hopefully they keep that momentum going, getting hot at the right time.
and now we'll flip and turn our attention to a match which
Was not as tight and stressful as the Friday night game.
no, I would say it was a match where you said,
They should win this one.
and they did what they needed to do. Now there's some caveats in this match, and
It's
this,
like at what cost? It's like we went,
well,
but
right,
what did it
and
cost?
we'll get to that in a second.
Hmm.
But one thing I would like to know, from everybody listening, how did you feel going into the match and coming out of the match? How did you feel? Because if you remember, DC United fought tooth and nail with Inter Miami, and they had drew with them previously in the season.
Yeah,
So this is a team that had gotten results coming into the match. 4 out of 5 last games. Now, two of those matches were against CF Montreal,
yeah.
but again, CF Montreal's credit, they go out and beat um, Charlotte.
We're playing down a man to be fair, but
True,
still,
but true. They still be a
yeah,
quality team.
yeah. Well, it's all how teams match up sometimes,
It's about matchups, and Indy said last week after New York City, teams are grinding right now. And this is where goofy things happen. And yeah, so Philadelphia Union wins 6-0. Uh,
Touchdown.
Philadelphia, within that win, Philadelphia score sets the club record for most wins on the road with 8. and ties the 2022 squad with most wins at 19 in club history. Philadelphia Union also became, and this came out right after the match, first club in MLS history to score at least 5 goals on the road against a single opponent in 3 different occasions. In 2019, they won 5-1. 2022, we all remember the touchdown.
Julian Carranza hat trick, and
Yes.
yes,
And
and there was a 7-0 win at home,
that was
which
the
also had a Carranza hat
was
trick.
that the year that somebody went on the Wikipedia
Oh yeah,
page
they
and
changed the owner of DC United to Julian Carranza.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Um
It
and,
felt like 2022 last night, let me tell you.
and then last night, 6-0. But uh so before we talk about the match, afterwards, we talked with Mikael Uhre, who
Yes.
had a goal almost a brace, but they called the goal back an own goal. And
I mean, yeah, it deflected like 2 times there, kind of.
so, I mean, it is what it is. But again, a goal,
It's still a goal.
a goal and 2 assists on the night,
Yeah.
and just talk to him about the similarities between not only this club but 2022. And I believe that was Todd that asked that question. So here's what Mikael had to say after the match, and we're going to share some pictures here in a second, but just want to share his comment.
I see some similarities, but yeah, I feel like it's a little bit hard because like some of the wins this year have been maybe been a little bit more scrappy, whereas in 2022 we found that momentum in July and we just absolutely annihilated teams. I think our goal difference was like something 40, 45, something like that, and now it's after today I think it's 23, so that also shows. But then again, it's a good group, and I feel like the one of the things that we have in common is the way to grind out also the hard wins, because sometimes it gets scrappy and sometimes you need those late goals, and we've really shown that this year.
And can I say how epic that picture is? Because that picture's great. If you're just listening to this, it's Mikkel in the rain, like arms outstretched, celebrating. Like that was pretty awesome.
No, and yeah, and it reminds you a lot of the Toronto when he had his hat trick. But
Yes.
I agree with Mikael there
Mhm.
that there are some similarities, but they're 2 different teams
And let's hope they're not similar to 2022 when it comes to Charlotte on the road.
where the Union have not won. We'll talk about that.
Hey, but
Yeah,
there's a first time for everything,
there
so.
is. Um, but I asked Jacob that too, and he kind of said the same thing that they were able to grind out some of those tough matches, and there was the locker room and those things. So that is a good thing. But obviously this will give some nostalgia, this 6-0 score line. But there was a lot more to it, I feel. But it's certainly confident that, and even Milan talked about a little bit that just the way his team's playing, the group, how everybody's bought in,
Mhm.
and we've talked about this ad nauseum that these players are believing what Bradley and his staff are teaching, and that's a good thing, and that's what you want, and that's why they're being successful.
Yeah, they really do have that belief, and I think that's huge. And here they are, still they're in control of their destiny now. They can win out. So, I mean, the vibes are really good. They need to keep that going because their last 2 matches will not be easy. And so, but huge momentum going into the rest of this.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And again, if you're listening, just tell me how you're feeling right now. We're recording on Sunday. You're probably going to be listening to this on Monday. Tell you how are you feeling after the dust settled on MLS this weekend, moving forward, and with the match itself.
Yeah, I mean, they go and beat a team that they should beat. And so I think that that's great. Not only did they win, but they won by a lot. They kept it going. And so that was great to see because when they go into halftime and they're up 3-0, I'm thinking, okay, are they gonna come out and just kind of sit back or are they gonna keep it coming? And they kept it coming.
Yeah. Share some photos actually. So, before the match, we kind of jumped into it, but we did end up going down with our good friend Todd Lewis
Hmm.
and other friend Ricky Zelfro. we all kind of drove down together, and yeah, it was some good talk, conversation on the season, moving into the season.
Yep.
Um, and just to kind of give everybody listening and watching on YouTube, I mean, listening on the podcast, and it wasn't there. It was very overcast when we were walking in. It wasn't raining yet,
Yeah, the
but
timing was impeccable because it wasn't raining when we got there and it wasn't raining when we left, but it rained the entire game.
and it rained on the entire ride home too,
Yep, but yes, it did not rain when we had to walk to and from the car, which is a 0.7 mile walk,
which
it's
was
not bad at all, but
which was a Christmas miracle.
it was a miracle. Yeah, praise be.
But no, once teams start warming up, the rates start coming down, and
And
yeah, I
and
mean
it made
it.
their field a little slick, and of course, yeah, there'll
And
be some
then
injuries. Whew.
and then here's us in the press box,
Yeah.
met up with Dave Leno as always.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm looking at there. What am I looking at? I look creepy there. Oh my God. I have like this creep.
Yeah, but Dave Leno was there and Shane and Williams like doing the call there. So they were actually kind of behind us in the press box, which is kind of cool because when there's go I looked up behind us see Dave doing his call and
And it was kind of
it was
cool to
cool.
see those guys kind of in action there. I kind
Yeah.
of appreciate that watching their kind of banner because a couple times, even during the match, when it wasn't really fast, I kind of just turned around to see how their mannerisms and all that. And so, Dave, if you listen, it was kind of a fun little behind the scenes, even though we couldn't hear them,
Yeah.
you
I
could
listened to
see.
all the calls this morning. They were
Yes,
great.
yes. Um, the match itself. When you see a score line and you didn't watch any a minute of the match, it can be a little deceiving.
Yeah, because DC they were getting chance. I mean, they really got chances throughout the game, but especially earlier on too. They were making it kind of tough.
I talked to somebody at halftime and I said there were three or four chances, and they said that first 30 minutes could have been a totally different match at half
Yeah.
had things come in. Bradley talked about it in his post game comments as well. You know, the team came out and they looked good. I wouldn't say they
Mhm.
were great or like it was still wasn't that Cincinnati, but they came out strong. And this is a team in DC that, has had some good form recently, but I wouldn't say they're a great team. They're a team the Union should easily handle. They're
Mhm.
eliminated from the playoffs. The thing that got me was early on, the Union would have these nice little runs and nothing would come out of them. But then when they would get, either dispossessed or there was a turnover and DC would go on the run, they were just going down that right side of the pitch, all like how you get caught up and then they break right away.
Mhm.
Um, and it led to some opportunities early on
Hit the
Be-
woodwork.
that
Yeah.
Benteke out jumps Harriel
Hmm.
and shot goes to left to Blake,
Hmm.
which we know Benteke's aerial possession. I mean, the guy's great in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a living of that in Europe. But then also Jared Stroud, first time, gets a breakaway, leads a shot. Blake reads it right, but he doesn't really get a hand, but luckily he's saved by the post.
Yep.
And then you kind of go down, they have a chance. Jovan turns over, goes down again. Stroud gets it, and this time ball goes over Blake's hands and bounces out. There easily were three chances
Yeah.
in that first 30 minutes, and it just seemed like every time there was a turnover, here come DC again. So
Yeah.
for the first 30 minutes, it wasn't really looking like this is going to be a track race.
Yeah. And then of course a big thing that happened early on was Quinn.
Yeah,
So
so
I went back and rewatched that today as
Mhm.
well, and yeah, you see he has, there's contact there, and he gets hurt, and then it looked like his foot kind of caught in the field, in the
Yeah,
grass there a bit, and he went down. And the weather, I'm sure, didn't help, but he's down, and eventually, and this was around the sixth or seventh minute. And so he gets off the field and he's being looked at, and then we see him on the sideline, running and jumping, and and looking like, okay, he's maybe gonna be okay. And he goes over to where he looks like he's gonna sub back in. And meanwhile, Mikael Uhre is kind of warming up, but it looks like he's about to sub in, and then you see him just go down to the ground. Like he just could not put weight on his one leg all of a sudden. Um so he gets subbed out. Mikael Uhre goes in, and we don't know anything, at all about Quinn's injury. No updates at this time.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
that was rough beginning there.
yeah, and Bradley talks about it. And it wasn't just Quinn on the night.
Oh yeah.
You had Jeremy Raffinella was subbed out.
And he had been subbed in earlier, so he wasn't even in that long.
Kai gets kind of was getting beat up a couple times throughout the night, and you could tell he was limping. And then I remember pointing out to you and Todd there towards the end, like he just was like kind of leaning over, adjust something, and then he kind of would like kind of hobble a little bit, but he
Yeah.
kind of was hanging in there as much as he could. And then Indy, I still don't know what happened to Indy.
Yeah. So he got banged up. I mean, Nate was getting banged up a bit. But yeah, the big one was, of course, Quinn. And so hopefully it's nothing too serious, but, definitely is worrying. And I would say, it changed the game quite a bit because, of course, it's going to affect having to sub in Mikael Uhre in like the 12th minute. It's affecting whatever the plans were for substitutions later.
Right.
But the silver lining you can take from it is Mikael Uhre comes in and makes an immediate
Which
impact.
we're going to get to in a second here. I
Yeah.
want to play Bradley's comment here.
Sure. He seems to be feeling better. He's the one that comes through in the locker room and says it's sort of toned down a little bit, and he's feeling a bit better. So, there's a couple other guys there. Kai, we have to check his status on. Raffanello, check his status on. Quinn is probably the worst for wear right now. So, not sure that the docs are with him right now.
So, I mean, that's kind of just Bradley there. And Bradley kind of opened up his press conference just saying, he really wasn't even worried about the results. He's more worried about like the stats of guys. So for him to say that, there is some concern. I mean,
Yeah.
for Quinn, I mean, he's had some tough stretches here as of late coming back from the Gold Cup. He wasn't on that run that he was
Yeah.
earlier in the season, but he's still an impactful player.
Yeah.
And obviously, so without him and Indy, that's a big blow heading into these final two games. And then also, Rafa's played better and uh,
Looked like it's hammy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then also, Kai, there again, what do you do with Kai? These are
Meanwhile,
the
Frankie's gone too, so it's like you have fewer options back there.
you really do. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, we don't want to speculate at
No.
all because we don't know what's going on, but there are a couple things like obviously you can move some players around, but again, if you're without your two assist leaders for a long time in Quinn and Kai, that's gonna be
Hmm.
difficult. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, getting back to your point about Mikael. So Mikael comes in, and this is something we were talking about at the beginning of the match, where here's Ua having going into match 5 goals against DC.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. And here we go. The starting line comes out, and it's Damiani and Milan.
We really wanted to see Mikael start.
It's even that. It's just it
Just thought it
doesn't
would
make
make
sense
sense. We thought it would make sense for him to
because
start.
Mikel's ability to get in behind people
Hmm.
opens up space for Bruno, which we see on the very first goal.
Hmm.
Very first goal, that's what we see. But Mikel comes in right away. He's finding space. They move Milan back to midfield. You could just see a total switch. And that's what led to that very first goal where Mikel goes down the side, crosses it in, and Damian runs right
Yeah, let's
onto it.
talk about that because that started with Milan. He had
Yeah,
such a good pass up to Mikael. Mikael goes on the run, crosses it to Bruno, and like it was just a beautiful setup.
yeah,
And it was like I think Mikael had been in for like 5 minutes at that point. It was pretty immediate impact. So it's like, all right, that's what we were wanting to see. And so like that whole play was like chef's kiss. It was great.
yeah. And then of course DC goes back and they have those two that hit the post. But then coming back, I think one of the things that was interesting for me was there again, you get that fluke goal where you think, okay, Ua gets that goal, but it's just a workman's goal. Again, like the team gets space, everybody builds up, the ball comes into Ua. Ua kind of doesn't get a foot on it. Maybe it's the weather, I don't know.
Hmm.
But he ranges his body as such, he's able to get the shot. The shot goes off the head over the goalkeeper, and it's
Two
2
no.
nothing.
Yeah.
And so Bradley did talk about just the performance on the night. And I want to talk about the second half goals a little bit, but I just want to talk about Ua's um impact on the evening. So,
Listen, Mika, we know his quality in the attacking transition. We know his quality as a striker is getting in behind. We know that he's got such a lethal technical ability in terms of shooting within the box, right? We challenge him, the staff, about the defensive side of the game, and it's a little bit of give, a little bit of take. And right now, he understands exactly his role, and that's what's so special about working with Mika. He's a DP, but he doesn't have the DP attitude. He doesn't. He's just a real teammate, and whatever the team needs. Sometimes I'd like a little bit more urgency, a little bit more, but that's Mika. Mika's a gem of a human being, and see him play like tonight, it makes me a very proud coach that we got guys in the second line right now. Who do we have a second line? Not really. It's guys who are just ready and waiting to come in and make an impact, and I think we've seen that tonight.
yeah, to that question, I was just basically I said like a goal and 2 assists on the evening, but what I was looking at was the impact he was making outside the score sheet. And Bradley said that. I agree. There are times that you'd like to see a little bit of urgency. Jim's talked about that.
Hmm.
But here on this night, Mikael shows you why the union went out and paid that money for him from Bromby. And yeah, again, just the impact gain space, opening up the field, played the entire match.
Hmm.
Um, and then after that, here again, good teamwork leads to Indiana Vassilev's third goal. Vassilev, I forget who it was, said like from their vantage point, it looked like he ran through 6 guys
Hmm.
on that deflection, that rebound out and knocks it home. It's 3-0 going into half. And you're like, okay, it's 3-0. And
Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's go. This is, it's starting to feel like, ooh, is it going to be like 2022 again? That's kind of what we're
mhm,
feeling there. And you see them just having so much fun. Indy does his little dance in the celebration, which was great. That's definitely going to be a GIF now for people. That was pretty great.
that was.
But yeah, like it's and the crowd was amazing, by the way. That
Yeah, it's all the sons have been that,
like,
but
oh yeah. The crowd like was definitely louder for the Union, we'll put it that way. So,
until they scored that fourth goal, and then DC United fans started chanting "Sell the team."
oh, it was after the third goal they started chanting "Sell
Yeah.
the team."
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I stand corrected.
yeah. So, yeah, it was definitely good to see that, Indy finishing that third goal there. So, yeah, and then of course, second half they come out and they had three more.
Yeah, I mean, second half starts. Was it Iloski scored first?
I know it's like keeping track of everything. Yes, it was Iloski scored, and it was just a few minutes into the second half.
Yes, it was that one where he kind of gets space in the right
Hmm.
above the 18, and then he just
Yep.
sneaks it right past the
Yep.
keeper.
And then like right after, pretty much it feels like then.
Uh, Ua gets that nice space, and again, we talk about the awareness
Hmm.
of Indiana Vassilev, and sometimes that's warranted, especially when he's trying to find players. He holds on to the ball too long or makes runs that really shouldn't be made. He finds his space, and Mikael just like, it's like, okay, just passes right into him and knocks it home, and you're like, whoa.
Indy's got a brace.
And by the way, that's his fourth career brace. So he's done before in MLS.
Nice.
So maybe this is a trend. Hopefully, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, it's nothing serious because, sure, you need some indie
Yeah.
every now and then. And, you know, criticisms aside, uh, I think last night's game shows you some of the things he can bring on the offensive end. You just would like to see more of them.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then at the end of the match, kind of put the nail in the coffin. It wasn't even at the end of the match. It was like
No,
in the
there's
60th minute.
yeah.
Um, Uhre gets his goal thanks to Milan IIoski finding him running down the right side of the pitch.
Yeah.
And Uhre puts it past the keeper and
That one counted for him.
yeah,
No,
so
no buts about it. Yeah.
so that makes it now six goals all time against DC. And yeah, I thought I'd have a little fun after we interviewed after the match and we interviewed Mikael and I just asked him, I was like, so what's the secret? And look, there's probably no secret, but I was just curious his thoughts on it, getting those six goals and here's what he kind of had to share.
I don't know. It's a little bit hard to say. Sometimes you just have teams that you find yourself, I don't know, more likely to score against. I don't know. It's fun how it works, but especially today there was some spaces in behind, and again that's something I as a player really likes to exploit. So yeah, it played well into me today.
I mean, that's a very humble answer,
Yeah.
but it's also a very truthful answer. He likes to play in space,
Yes.
and there was space today,
Yeah.
but
Also, Andre yelling Bizo in the background there.
yeah, that was
Bizo. Yeah.
who did play yesterday.
He played.
Yes,
And
he
Ben
did.
Bender played. Ben Bender got
Yes.
in and shout out to him because he's more it's like closer to home for him and pretty sure he had some family there and so he got to play.
Yeah, and then Bradley also we talked a little bit about the impact of Iloski,
What recent
12,
impact.
12 goals now, 5 assists on the season between here and San Diego.
What a signing.
Yeah, and here's what Cornell had to say about that.
Uh, I don't think it's, I mean, we knew exactly what type of striker or 10 Milan was. So, he played a lot of the time like the floating nine, with San Diego or at Nordsjælland in Denmark overseas. And we've seen a lot of good play between the lines. So with him dropping a tier deeper, he's able to impact and affect our transition play a little bit more, which then progresses our game. And a couple of times we've been pretty critical that we had breakages or stoppages in our transitional players of late. And Mika's come in and Mila has just come in and filled that gap quite spectacularly. So he had a good goal contribution at San Diego. I think he's just hit the ground running in a system like ours, which he really enjoys.
Pretty certain all about his ability to defend.
Again, he hasn't had a preseason with us. He's come in the mix of the end of the summer months when it's really hot and then getting to press and run the way we do. I think he's seen the impact and the reward he can get as well. So I think he's eager and hungry to continue to learn, to realize what rewards him and what rewards the team. So, we don't defend just to defend. I think this type of game model, you've heard different coaches speaking about it throughout the years. We defend to score. And I think you saw that tonight.
Yeah, I agree right there with Bradley said. Um, and that brings up an interesting point with
Mhm.
both Bruno.
Mhm.
I think he's now had what three goals, I think, in 4 matches.
Mhm.
I think the only game he didn't score on was Vancouver.
Yeah. Nobody
So,
scored in that one.
well, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second, but that right there didn't have a preseason.
Yeah.
Iloski didn't have a preseason.
Yeah.
I know we're focusing on here and now, but what is it if you get next year a preseason behind those backs? What kind of jump can they make? It's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I saw on Reddit like San Diego fans in their section of that being like, why could we not sign Milan? Why could we not keep him? This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Like they're crashing out like the Giants fans about Saquon Barkley, like when he got let go.
Well,
I'm
and
not
that
saying Milan is Saquon Barkley here, but I'll tell you what,
no,
but he's basically gone from a team where he was doing very well, but now he's on a team that is a contender as well. And he's fit in so well. Like he just kind of hit the ground running and he's fit in so nicely to this and he seems like he's just really meshed well with all of them.
we're gonna hear from him in a second, but about that. I know Cornell likes to use him in the hybrid model. I know he won the Golden Boot with Orange County FC in the USL.
Mhm.
And he played kind of a wing forward hybrid there, like a floating one. But it just seems to me, and when you're listening, if you're listening, comment which you want to see Miloski at? More of in the midfield, up in the midfield, or do you want to see him as a forward? Because to me, it makes more sense to put him in either Quinn or, well, Indy's positioning,
Hmm.
and then it does put him up there with, switching out either Damiani,
Hmm.
Baribo, or Ua.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's better in that role because like he's I think he's fine just as a striker,
Yeah.
but he's so good when he's playing more in that role where like Quinn's been. So.
I think he has, yeah, I think he has more experience, obviously, as a forward,
Mhm.
but I think in MLS it makes more sense to where he is. And that's just my opinion. Having said that, it's a good problem to have with him because you can move him around if you need to, and you're going to get some things from him.
Side note, that's how I feel about Marcus Anderson with Union too.
Correct. No, I agree 100% with
Yeah.
that. But yeah, let's hear from Indy real quick. All right. And yeah, we were just asking him about, he's feeling,
Union Milan.
yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry,
We
Milan.
didn't get to talk to Indy because we were
Yeah, yeah.
dealing with the
No, for sure. I mean, the team's unbelievable. They really embraced me coming in, and of course, I think anytime you make a signing mid-season like this or towards the end of the season, it can shake things up and rock the boat a little bit. But the group's been amazing. Embraced me from the first day, and I think you can see that also. We really have joy playing together, and we're a very unselfish group, which I love to be a part of. So, we're trying as best we can to keep chasing 3 points, and at the end of the day, whoever gets the goals gets the goals. But it's really fun to be in a group like that.
Did that catch you by surprise at all? Just how fast the team adapted to your playing style and just your personality?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think the team's where they're at for a reason. So I wasn't expecting a real hostile, strange environment because everyone in the league knows how great the team works together. So I assumed that coming in, and I try to embrace the team values and the culture, and just add to it as much as I can, and really not take away from it. So I did expect it to be a little bit strange coming in and being an attacking player at this point in the season, but at the end of the day, the team I think saw that I can add another layer to the group, and they really embraced me.
Yeah. I mean, excellent question there by Todd, by the way. Shout out to you. Um, Excellent question. But yeah, no, that's exactly kind of what we're talking about there, the impact and just kind of fitting in.
hmm
And it's what we've seen, with an offseason, he's just kind of been a plug and play player. And again, they scored 6 goals and didn't even have Ty Baribo last night.
Yeah, exactly. And
Which brings up a question. Would they have scored 6 goals with Ty Baribo? Or is Ua, because we talked about that on the drive down. Ua, because both Baribo and Damian kind of play similar styles,
hmm
where Ua's ability to get into space.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, also, I hate to say it, but like, also, would they have scored 6 goals if Mikael hadn't come in when he did?
that's a good question. I mean,
It's just a lot of ifs there.
there's a
But
lot of ifs, kind of like Vancouver. There was a lot of
yeah,
ifs, and Bradley talked about that. So again, not to discredit the match.
sorry,
Sorry.
someone sent me a really funny
Yeah.
picture about the Mets. By the way, the Mets are eliminated too, and which we already knew about. But
And there's a picture of crying Michael Jordan coming out of where the apple is. If you're listening, it's
yeah,
hilarious.
shout out Jose Nunez. That's a great picture.
Jose,
I'm dying.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, anyway,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
anyway, Union got 2 more matches now. Um, they're at 63 points. And really, they now host NYC FC on Saturday,
hmm
trying to avenge an early season 1-0 loss, which they did not play good on in that
It was
night.
like like a dumb, weird goal that Rick gave up, as we recall.
It was just silly, and
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, look, NYCFC is playing very good right now.
They just won the Hudson River Derby last night.
Yep, and putting basically Red Bull's hopes of qualifying. What was it, like some crazy
Yeah.
streak?
So they had won 3-2 last night. And interestingly, of course, just to note, Matt Freeze had to leave that game, which hopefully he's okay. Um,
And I believe Alonso Martinez did not play either.
yeah, so Matt Freeze he took he got kicked in the head basically.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay, but may or may not be dealing with concussion, so that
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see there.
But I
But
mean, like, again, hopefully he's okay. But that
yeah.
could have implications for next weekend. So
So either way, you like I said, I mean, bottom line at this point, you gotta go out and win. And then they gotta try to win in Charlotte, yeah,
yeah,
and where
yeah,
they haven't won before, and they've had some bad memories there.
yeah. If some things go the Union's way with other teams, and the Union win on Saturday, that could make Charlotte way less stressful.
So anyway, I'm glad you brought that up. Now I'm not gonna share this, but I did make some notes already. Currently, the Union, the max they are at is 69 points. All right. Depending on what happens between Cincinnati or in Orlando tonight,
Mm,
Orlando's most points they can get is 63. Now they have right now 4 games in hand.
mm-hmm.
They can get 63 points.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, then I'm playing this as they are playing right now,
Mm-hmm.
so they still have 3 games to play. Uh, they can reach a total of 67 points.
6-7.
Um, Outside of that, with San Diego's loss to Van San Jose last night, they can also reach 63. And I do think depending on how the Union finish, that could be a factor. That's like a really low bar. The main ones are, if you're looking at it, Vancouver. Now they have the Canadian Cup Championship Wednesday, but then they have San Jose at Orlando and then Dallas. They can end up at 66 points. Plus, they also would have the goal win and win differential.
Yeah.
Miami, obviously, now they split points, but
That was big that so like if Union win out, they win the Shield, no
correct,
matter what Miami does at this point.
correct. But again, that's going to be a tough task. And
Yeah.
then the dark horse in all of this. LAFC.
Yeah, and
They
they've
have 4 games in hand, and they are red hot with Belonga and Sun.
yeah, that's a duo that's like, yeah, don't want to face them.
Yeah, right now I think Orlando's hot. Um, there's just so many teams right now. This is going to be an interesting race. I guess my question is where you stand. Where are you standing at this right now with the Shield?
Oh man. So, as someone who follows Philly sports, there's that part of me that's like, how are they gonna how are they gonna blow? How are they gonna disappoint me, right? There's that part. But also there's the part of me that's cautiously optimistic. We've seen Union grind out wins. We've seen them, Bryce. Like you think back Cincinnati, and they win, even being down a man. They've pulled out some tough results. So yeah, they laid a total egg, Vancouver. All right, they've had some real stinkers, but this is a team I think that's playing with a lot of belief, and they've kind of since that very humbling loss, they seem to have kind of turned it around a bit. So hopefully that'll continue. I mean, they only beat New England 1-0, I know, but hopefully hopefully last night was something maybe could be a little bit of a spark. And I know not every team's gonna be what DC was.
No,
But
and I would
yeah.
argue that, and Todd and I, we were all talking about that at walking out of the match, that this DC team, you can argue, was worse than the DC team that the Union beat back in 2022. That was an impressive win. That was a decent team. That was
Yeah.
the team that was fighting for the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is a team that's already eliminated. For me, I don't know. Uh, Todd brought up a very good point in that against the good teams, we haven't seen a chance creation. And we
Yeah.
got 2 good teams we're facing. Now I know we
Mhm.
beat Charlotte at home 2-0, and that was a grind out game.
Mhm.
Was it 2-0 or 3-0? They all run together right now. Anyway, they beat Charlotte.
Charlotte, that was the one where Mikanya had the late game winner, wasn't it?
I thought it was 2-0.
I thought Charlotte was the one who was Mikanya late game winner, but
No, that was I you were at that game. I
because I
was
was
not.
at it, yeah.
Yeah, that was Montreal.
But it all runs together
Yeah, it
anyway.
all runs together. I think it was. Anyway, I I still think somebody like Cincinnati, Vancouver's gonna find a way to backdoor in and steal it at the death. Kind of like 2022. Um, I don't know. Well,
It was 2-1 against Charlotte,
it
by the way.
was.
It was 2-1.
Oh, that's right. Zaha
It
scored.
was and that wasn't the McConaughey one. I'm thinking of yeah, it was that was Marcus Anderson.
Uh,
Another one of my favorite guys there from Union. No, Marcus Anderson, that's right. He had actually got it in that game and had the game winner.
okay.
Yes, that's right.
So,
But McConaughey had a game winner, yeah,
but
elsewhere.
again, that was the one where Zaha kind of pushed off on Frankie a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. But anyway, I don't know. I'm
and it was
curious.
McConaughey against Montreal.
Okay.
Yes, yes. That was 2-1 also. See, I'm mixing up the blue teams.
No, I think it would shock me if they go on a little run here at the end of the year. I'd be sh if I start to see the chance creation go up. I think there's a hope. If they can close out these two teams, the momentum heading into playoffs will be massive. To quote Bad Nick Cardinal.
Massive.
But until that time, I can see them consistently beat good teams. I just don't see it yet. I think they've punched above their weight all year. And they've always had talent, and we've
Hmm.
seen that talent. But I just don't know. I'm still very much on that. I could just see something happening. Somebody gets hot like a Miami, goes on run. Vancouver finishes strong, even though they got injuries. Cincinnati looks strong. But I'd like to hear everybody else's comments, because you know, I'm struggling with that, and being very neutral. It's just something right now. I need to see more chance creations here coming into the playoffs to think they could qualify. However, there's a good opportunity this weekend
Yeah.
against a very good New York City team that's been playing good form right now. And if they go out there and they win, I don't care if it's 1-0 or it's 5-1, go out there and win and don't let anything go to decision day, because if you even give you get a point, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Because now you're opening Pandora's box into what could happen.
Yeah. And I'd like to see them have a really good disciplined game too.
Yeah,
No stupid yellows. Mikanya is he gonna be back on the naughty list again? I
I
don't know.
don't know.
I don't know how exactly.
We were talking about
Yeah.
that driving home,
He got a stupid yellow last night. For dissent, like basically. And so yeah.
but we'll see. But anyway, two big matches coming up this weekend in Chester. We'll be out there, so make sure if you see us, say hi.
Yeah.
And this has been an all new episode of the One Team Week. Oh,
Hang on. One thing to note.
what?
Also, just for people listening, be sure to tune in 7 p.m. Monday night. This is going to be out on Monday, so it'll be tonight if you're listening to it on Monday, 7 p.m. on FS1, also in Universo on
Oh yes.
Peacock. The U20s, the
Yep.
U20 World Cup against New Caledonia. Frankie Westfield, probably will be a starter, I would think, in that. But anyway, you can check out the U20 World Cup. That's starting, and I retweeted the schedule for that too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it kicks off against an opponent who they should beat. But yeah, so sure to check that out too.
Yep. So until next time, this is all new episode of One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, be sure to like and subscribe and leave us comments. We love hearing from you, and follow us on our socials. And we love to have some more subscribers on our YouTube channel as well. So keep sharing that out. And yeah, we got some articles out, recaps for these games, and we'll have some more things this week. So be sure to be checking stuff out.
And until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.